we're on now. We're 10 seconds deep, Mike. So let
Are
us
we
know.
live?
We're
live.
We are.
Anybody want to know what I think?
Live. All right.
Anybody want to know what I think? No, I mean,
Let's
we were
take
just talking
turns.
about how.
Mike, you go first.
All right. We're just talking about how, how sweet it would have been to be 6-3 because that makes the match, a pretty even match at that point. 5-4 still makes Europe a pretty, a pretty significant favorite. But to me, the most heartbreaking thing about that last match was those were the points that you really want to have to steal a tournament if you're the underdog. And that's a matchup with Jeremy and Chris. If you could win with Jeremy and Chris and get that point, that's just a huge, huge bonus for the team. And you want to see Chris do well. I mean, he's been playing well, and you wanted to see Jeremy get a point where he wasn't relying on Sky or Shane or something like that. So that was, in a lot of respects, that was just a huge, huge point, more than just the overall score. So, because now you're going into a day with singles where you can't play Tyler and you can't play Sky in singles. So you're trotting out Jeremy, you're trotting out Chris. It was, obviously it was a great day for the U.S., but we were so close to really putting in. I mentioned yesterday.
It could have been great. It could have been great.
It could have been great.
Good,
and I mentioned yesterday about how I wanted to see the Europeans and how Alex coaches with the heat on them. And you could see a little bit yesterday in their body language and their talking at railside that they were not, this we play ping pong at night and laugh and hug each other type of group. They were a little tightened up. And at 6-3, that would have carried over into today.
Yeah, that happy-go-lucky.
I'm squeezing buns.
That happy-go-lucky. Yeah, of posting, Jenga on social media seems to be out the door at this point because the USA came and put a little bit of heat on their ass when they wasn't expected. And that last game, like Mike said, I think most people, they were already chalking that up as a European win, on that particular match. So to be at a 4-1 spot, and it was like you got a chance to really steal something massive when you had already had all the momentum. You were already in complete control. You were about to go and double them up when those guys thought that they were just, that 30,000 was in the bag. And now, from 4-1 to Hill, and then what ended up happening. It was a roller coaster of a day.
It was a wonderful. I love that about it. That it was a roller coaster. My emotions went every which way but loose all through that whole day, except maybe the first match. But when I look at that part, that one that Chris and Jeremy, you go, let's steal one here. Boy, do I get that. And when you look back, of course, you're thinking Chris missing that ball, and that was not a good thing, of course. But I go back a little bit further than that, and even more critical. The commentators were talking about Jeremy Jones and all the experience he's had, and all the games that he plays. He plays them all. One pocket, he plays this and this and that. And then it was just right after they got done talking about that he plays it safe. Caroms off the one ball and two and scratches in the corner, and that wasn't like you're not going to look at that as being a possibility.
It was a little fluky though because he caught it. He caught that second ball very thin when he should have caught it a lot more fat. Like
if he's a one pocket player, he's looking at that. He's saying I could possibly scratch here, and he basically shot that shot like you'd break one pocket, and with the same kind of stuff on it, and. That you can scratch in that corner on one pocket. If you break like that, it's possible to do that. And that's what I thought was mind-boggling, especially after the commentators kind of talked him up. And I looked at that shot over, and they were looking at that, and I'm thinking, hey, you're up. You're ahead in this. There's the 9 ball right there, and it's aiming to go up the table. Blast these buggers.
But he's expecting to come off the side and then that 2 ball go and bounce off the rail.
Just blast it.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear right there.
Slop counts.
That's American pool. Blast it.
Slop counts. I mean, he missed that 8 ball by so much with 2 rails in the side.
Yeah.
I think it worked out perfectly. Because somebody predicted the There was actually two people that predicted a 3-2 win.
Yes.
Right.
I'm learning.
This guy
I'm
and
learning
that guy.
from Nostradamus over here. I'm learning.
And
No, but when I looked at yesterday,
well,
it was that meat potatoes is where I thought that USA could go and get it. Those are the three matches that I thought that they got a hell of a shot to go and get there, because I was already chalking up that last match as a win for Team Europe, and we anticipated seeing Josh or Jason go out in match number 1, and I liked their chances. So in those three were the three that I thought that USA could go and get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I think there was one other prediction. Didn't somebody predict that Europe was going to win 5-0? Who was that? Where's he at now?
Showing up today for some crazy.
Is he the one that's not here?
Is that what Jimmy did? Is that what Jimmy said? 5-0. He was rolling our eyes, right?
Yeah. And he had a lot of money to play with, so
can't find him anywhere.
Yeah,
now.
no,
can't find the guy.
I was hoping he would be on here because I wanted to tell him how, just think of how much better the U.S. would be if they got to play with a world champion.
So what do you guys think about Kachi's performance?
Well,
he's the best player on Team USA right now.
He is, and you look at today's lineup, and boy, did he fall into the right spot.
Well, so to be fair, I'm actually hearing that he has some stomach issues, like food poisoning type symptoms, and he's really battling up against it.
I heard that. Yes, I heard that about Albin yesterday too. That he was not feeling 100%. I heard this before play even. Yeah, I heard that before play even started yesterday. So thankfully Alex Laley. I mean, the team hasn't said anything about it publicly, so they're not leaning on anything.
And
they know they got to get out there and play, and they won't.
I'm sure
so
that's
won't.
They must have had a bad meal together or something like that.
They're right. They're real men. They're not going to.
Well, I got to send a Christmas present to the cook, whoever the chef was. Getting whatever.
I think it was Earl.
Is on Panozzo's Christmas card list this year.
Oh my goodness!
But I did mention that one shot when we were talking on the messaging here about Kachi's bank shot, that cross side bank with the cue ball going all the way down the table and back up for absolutely perfect position on that hanger in the corner. And then, of course, his partner messes up position for him, and now he's faced with this low percentage shot. And I thought that was, as far as shots go in the whole day, for me, skill-wise, besides Sky's bank, cross corner bank on the 3 and perfect shape on the 4-9 combo, besides that shot, that was the best shot of the day. Yeah, and Kachi stroked it, made it perfect. Really, that was a tough shot to do what he did.
Was that before or after he missed the 2-ball with ball in hand?
Right.
I think it was I think it was after.
I couldn't believe it, man.
I couldn't believe it either. No.
Yeah. Here's what it made me think about though.
He still can't believe it. He's frozen on it. He can't get past it. That's how much he can't believe it. He's frozen in the moment.
One of the things that it shows, though, with the tight pockets and just the natural pressure of Mosconi Cup, and then you throw the 4-inch pockets on top of it, is seeing the shots that these guys are missing makes, to me, those great shots even more spectacular, because they're not, he's not shooting that cross corner bank into a 4 3/4, 5-inch pocket. He's not, the big shots these guys are making are really impressive when you see how easy it is to miss all these shots that they're missing. That to me is what stands out.
Hole. Yeah, right in the middle of the pocket.
They're tight pockets, man. I'm telling you, they're
beautiful.
They look even more intimidating. Hey, there he is. I thought you'd never show up after that 5-0 prediction. There he is. You got anything to say for yourself, Jim? No, Cookie's. All right, we're gonna have to end the show here. Cookie's on. We're done.
You're so rude. So I might have been a little bit optimistic by saying 5-0.
Is that all you have to say?
Just a little.
Is that all you have to say, Jim?
No, he froze up because he doesn't have anything more to say.
That must be the corner that everybody freezes up in.
Could the real Albino Sean please show up?
We were just talking about that. I mean,
yeah, Crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
But, hey,
I mean, the standouts.
That's Mosconi Cup.
I mean, the big standouts for me.
Yeah.
The big standout for me, I think, is Tyler. Tyler on the positive side and Albin on the negative side. But I don't think anybody on Europe is really playing well.
Jason's playing pretty well.
Jason's playing.
For sure.
Yeah, Jason's definitely getting out when he needs to.
His
I think
kicks and
David's
his
playing
saves
well.
are perfect.
Yeah, I think David's playing well. I think I think he's doing okay.
He messed up that one shape shot.
I mean,
yesterday.
the Tyler. Yeah, and Tyler's a positive for the US, but I mean, the way he won the match against Filler, I think even Tyler would admit he got a couple of rolls in that match. Let's be fair, you know.
Yeah,
but this is races
game.
to 5. It's Mosconi Cup. It's Mosconi Cup 9 ball, and it's races to 5. So these things happen, you know. And you've got to. The thing is for Team Europe is they have to accept that it's happened. They have to accept they're in the situation they're in just now. And there has to be a reaction. There has to be a reaction from Alex. There has to be a reaction from the players.
I think
and that's what we need to see.
To have 4.
That's what exactly. That's what we didn't see in the 2 years when America won it recently. We didn't see a reaction on day 3 from Marcus at the time and from the players. It was almost like everyone just expected, well, it'll be okay. No, it's not going to be okay if they continue to do what they're doing. So they need to step up and they need to change something. They need to get fired up and they need to get out there and start playing pool the way they normally play pool. Because it's not enough for a couple of the players. It's not enough.
Yeah,
I heard that Kachi's got some sort of food poisoning. He had diarrhea. He was unwell. So hopefully that's cleared up now because he's got a big singles match today. So
against Shane,
we need him.
Yeah,
we need him. We need him playing well. You know, we need them all playing well now. We can't have any weak links. They've all got to step up. Yeah.
Speak for yourself, Jim.
I always do.
So I guess we talked about. Was there any standout moments to you guys besides what we've already talked about from the results for yesterday?
I don't know if you mentioned Chris and Jeremy should have won their match. It should be 6-3.
Right. Yep. I mean,
we mentioned that a few times.
I thought you might have.
Yeah, we mentioned it because that made Mike and my prediction right, and yours really wrong. Speaking of Mike, sorry, Mike. Yeah, I just see you're getting back now.
No. I had a power surge, just some weird the weather or something. My bad.
Okay. No, you're good. Jim came on and apologized right away for his bad prediction. So this is the 7th episode in a row that he started with an apology.
The jinx of Telfer strikes again. Wow.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. I should just stop with this.
Yeah. So
Jim's going to be predicting 5-1 in favor of the U.S. today.
No.
What do you guys think of going and having Chris right out there after what happened yesterday and he's immediately in the singles? I don't know if y'all talked about that.
That doesn't bother me at all. Get him right back on the horse.
Yeah, get him back on the horse, and I think that I don't know, they both try to guess who's going to put their singles guys where.
The obvious choice for Europe is to put the best player out there right away, so they can start out with it tied up. I kind of like throwing Chris out there right now, but I think they're throwing him to the wolves. I think it probably should have been Jeremy personally, but if he wanted it,
Chris was going to have to play either Kachi or Al-Kaidi either way. So I think you found a nice spot with Shane going up against Kachi based on the way they played the first couple of days, and Jeremy against David. David's heavy favorite in that, and David hasn't played poorly, but it's his first singles match.
Really poorly for him.
It's moving, Dave. Jason's going to get MVP. Yeah. It's going to be because of today, because he's going to be in that last doubles as well. So
right. So he's going to play 3 times today.
Over the lineup for it.
Yeah.
So Shane. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Panozzo, you have the lineup in front of you. Can you give us the rundown real quick?
Yeah, it starts out with singles, Jason against Chris. Then it goes doubles. Jason stays out there with Filler, and Tyler hooks up with Sky. Then it goes singles again, and that's Kachi against Shane.
I love that matchup.
I like that too.
And then another doubles, Albin and Al-Kaidi against Tyler and Shane. And then singles, Al-Kaidi against Jeremy. and then the fans' choice doubles. So you got to assume it's going to be Jason and Filler and Sky and Shane. So it looks like Jason will be out there 3 times today. It looks like Shane will be out there 3 times today. We all know that Team USA can't win unless Shane, gets 4 or 5 points. He's 0 for 2 in singles, so it's time for him to start packing some points on if we're gonna.
He's 2 and 2 overall right now, right?
That second doubles is massive because that's each team's 2 best players. Tyler Steyer is America's best player along with Sky right now, and Josh and Jason are Europe's big dogs. So that's going to be massive spot.
Who do you like in a race to 10 with those 4 players?
Oh, in a race to 10, give me Europe, but a race to 5, flip the coin, boys. I mean, they can go either way.
Yeah. But that's it. That's it. That's why we love the Mosconi Cup, and that's why we talk about it beforehand. Europe being massive favourites. They're only playing a race to 5,
right?
There's no massive favourites. There's favourites, but no.
Don't give me that shit now, Jim, because you were Mr. 5-0 yesterday. Don't go and say it now. At least stick to your guns the whole time. Yeah, right. They were 4 or 5 to 1 on the money. Like don't go and be like, no, wait a minute. It was only a race to 5 now. Come on, man. It should have been 6-3, and Jim would have been there, shaking his hands a little bit.
He wouldn't be on the podcast right now. I promise you that.
Yeah. You drink his pint. You go ahead and drink as much as I drink, and then we'll see how sensible your.
I can hear it in your voice, Jim. I can hear it in your voice. I can feel it in your soul right now, Jim. I really can, my man. Yeah,
Jim, I drink as much as you, and my prediction was dead on. What's up with that?
Because that's just pure luck. You didn't actually know what you were talking about.
I want to know.
USA's in a really good spot, though.
Yeah. USA's in a good spot. They're in a spot where what they would have signed for at the start.
Yeah, if they would hear that they're up 5-4 going into day 3, they'd be loving it.
I mean, the matchups are pretty great too because you got Tyler playing 2 times today as well. You got Shane playing 3 times. And I mean, I think you're just looking at it. You can go and say maybe the Chris matchup may be an L and the Jeremy matchup may be an L, but the rest of that bulk of those. If Chris, all bets are off, then because then the floodgates can go and open because I like Team USA's chances in that second through 4 matchup. 2 through 4.
There was a time yesterday where I actually thought US could go 5-0. Really, I'm thinking, holy cow. This is like
they lost the first match.
They lost the first match.
They lost the first one, Rob. So that might have been.
I think he's saying they were up. Shane was up 2-0, and it was at the table on the 7.
Yeah, that 7 ball was huge. That 7 ball that Shane ball missed was huge.
Big deal. But we can go back and micro inspect every match on where turning points were, and that's the way a race to 5 alternate break goes. Everything is
4
huge.
games.
Everything is huge there. So this is what we were hoping for, to have it close, to have unexpected players coming through, to have tight matches, to have, speculation, and to be talking about a ball missed, or a safety misplayed in the second game, how impactful it is. I mean, that's what makes this great.
How important
that's Mosconi.
That's why we're here, huh, Jim?
The word that's used. The word that's used is momentum, and these are these little momentum swings, and it's about you making the best of those momentum swings. America had momentum, and then just that last match yesterday has halted that. I like putting Chris back in the first one and saying to him, okay, get that momentum back.
Here's the thing, though, is that when you have momentum swings, when you got 5 number 1s, they're supposed to be able to fade it. And when you have Akachi shaking at his knees, when you have Albin, with his hands in his face, that's when they're not able to go and fade those swings. Yeah. If it was the other way around, you wouldn't be surprised if Team USA maybe was a little bit of a deer in headlights. But you expect Team Europe to really stand tall, and they really haven't whenever the push came to shove. They got gifted.
That's what I mean.
They got gifted being down 1 point.
There needs to be a reaction now. There needs to be a reaction now.
Well, you talk about momentum, and that was the case after the first day. USA won the first 2 games, and Europe won the second 2.
Now. He goes out there and gets a reaction out of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do I know?
I'll tell you,
it's gonna be a good day.
Safety when he tucked that ball 2
rails. I can't wait.
The corner hit the 3rd rail right behind the 6th ball. That was a thing of beauty.
All right. Well, Jim.
Chain shot. He shot on Shane at the U.S. Open, didn't he, or was it a Mosconi Cup? He hit a shot real similar to that.
It was a nice,
the famous one where he gives him the kiss. You know,
What was that?
He's got that touch, man. You know.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
So Jim, your prediction was so good last time. Give us it 6 matches. What you got? What's the score?
I think it'll be tied today.
It's going to be hard to get tied.
I agree with Mike. I think
3-3.
No, it'll be 3-3 today. Yeah, I agree with Mike. I think USA are stacked in the middle there, and there's a couple of matches you have to be winning in this. They can't afford to lose. They are heavy favourites in a couple of matches, or favourites in a couple of matches, and they have to pick off those points. If they lose those points, they're really under it. So I'll go 3-3 today.
All right. Molina Mike, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, if Team USA can go and steal the Chris or Jeremy match, either one of those, I like Team USA to win outright the Mosconi Cup. I think that bulk of those matches, I can't stress it enough. It's massive, and I like the guys they got in there. Even though Shane hasn't really played all that great per se, I still like him being in there whenever it's time, you know. So, yeah, I mean, But I think I'm with Jim. I think it'll be a 3-3 overall day, and Team USA will still go and have the lead heading into the final day of the Mosconi Cup.
All right, Rob, what you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna not do that. Go 3-3. I think the U.S. team definitely has some psychological momentum going into today, knowing that score of 5-4 really could have easily been 6-3 and maybe should have been 6-3. So I'm going to go today. I'm going to go with USA. I liked what I saw yesterday, except for Chris's miss on an easy shot. That's one that I think maybe Mike Panozzo could have made that shot. You know, I'm going to go 4-2 today.
Go ahead, Mike.
Mike Panozzo, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going 3-3. I like the doubles and singles in the middle of that lineup, and I like Chris and Jeremy. If either one of them can win, we haven't really talked about that last doubles match. That's a heavyweight shot, and that's an even money match. Shane, and if it is Shane and Sky against Jason and Josh, that's going to be a pretty interesting matchup. So, you could go 4-2, but I would take 3-3. I would take going into the last day up 8-7.
Let me play devil's advocate here, Mike. If Shane loses both those matches, is this on him? If they, if let's say they go and lose versus Hachi and they lose versus Albin.
See about that.
Yeah, well, you win as a team and you lose as a team, and everybody's played their hardest, whatever. But Shane, you need, that for them to win, he's got to get his points. He's got to get 4 or 5 points, right? So he's gotten 1 or 2 now. He's got to beat Kachi. That's not even a question. That's got to go down. And the 2 doubles match that he plays in today, he and Tyler, I like their chances against Albin and Alcade, but yeah, they need Shane to win. If Shane plays 3 times today, he's got to win twice. Has to. Because it's expecting too much of everybody else to pick up for him.
That's what I'm saying.
If he doesn't get a couple of those points.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
I wouldn't dump it. I wouldn't dump a loss on him, but they. Well,
I mean, he's got 2 losses in the singles already, and you're talking about a race to 11. You're already talking about 4 points going towards Team Europe. When Shane's on the other side,
right?
I mean, this is what's great is that like these conversations can even be had because it really is. It's very, very close.
And the other side of it is, if you're European, you're saying the same things about Jason and Josh. We've got to get X number of points out of these guys, even though we have these other giant killers, these other world champions. You're counting on X number of points from Josh and from Jason. So when it's always Josh and Jason against Shane, someone's coming out on the wrong side of that. Now Shane against Kachi, got to get that point.
Especially with the way they've been playing, because if it wasn't for a couple scratches in the side, Shane might have had 2 W's next to his name.
Yeah, but I mean, we could say that about 80% of the matches that we watched.
But it was a little. He had momentum, and then he gets kicked in the side, and then all of a sudden the wheels came off. On both his singles.
That was just terrible.
Yeah.
How many times that happened to you, Nate? Perfect break.
Go on, guys. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Go on. Talk amongst yourselves. Give me a second.
All right, so we're gonna expect to go and have Josh and Jason in that final match, right? That's what I mean. At least that's what I'm expecting, and it'll be versus Shane and Sky.
Yeah,
again.
And it's funny. Part of me, and this is no conspiracy theory. I would like to see the votes as they're piling up, because what would happen if the U.S. fans at the last minute, got the gremlins in the computer system going, and all of a sudden it was Shane and Sky against, David and Kachi, by votes, something weird like that. It would be interesting to see how that could happen. But, you assume everybody wants to see the best pool. So that you assume that they're going to give you Shane and Sky against Jason and Filler. And at the end of this day, no matter what the score is, there's going to be some pressure in that match. You're going to see
absolutely.
You're going to see some back elbows flapping a little bit in that match. I don't care how good these players are. Too much on the line.
Yeah, I mean, it could really go and swing so many different ways looking through the first five, So, I mean, you don't want to go and over magnify anything, but it will be very, very massive that point. And you know what? I got a lot of respect for Jeremy the more I think about it, man, because he's held his own. You couldn't expect him to go and play like Jason would, but he's held his own, and I love these matchups, man. The more that these go and unfold, and from day 1 to day 2, and then now into day 3, he's positioned, his soldiers in really great spots throughout this event. So that's just amazing to me.
He's certainly not the liability I was expecting him to be.
For sure,
and not like I don't mean to make that sound as disrespectful as it probably does, but you just can't throw somebody in there 2 days before and expect him to be able to hold himself together. And I agree with you. He has for the most part. I mean, he hasn't played great, but he's played way better than I thought he did. He's been competitive, and I mean,
and he's got a coach. He's got a coach.
That's what I'm saying, Mike.
Yeah, he's got a coach.
He's got to do.
I mean, you're looking at the two teams. It's 7 against 5. I mean, they've got a coach and a vice captain who are just sitting out there, discussing, talking amongst themselves, figuring strategy. And Jeremy and Shane are both playing. So it's crazy.
I think that what this is turning into,
it's 7 on 5.
I think this actually brings Team USA together, though. It forces everybody to be part of the team. Not, there's no hierarchy when your coach is your teammate as well. I think it brings everybody together a lot more as a team, and they actually, they can bond over that a little bit more.
It does, but
it might be a little bit of a blessing.
I can tell you from the days that was the norm. When the player coach, when the coach for Team USA and Team Europe were always the players. You talked to Varner and you talked to Archer back in those days, and it was a strain. It was a strain to be captain and play and pick the lineups and all that stuff. It was really hard on those guys. So hats off to Jeremy for the job he's doing, and it's part of the reason I wanted so badly to see him get that point yesterday, because he deserves one. He deserves one for what he's doing.
I agree.
So what's your prediction?
So I guess, I didn't give. I think Europe's going to come out today. I think they're going to win at 4-2. So it's going to be. I guess it's going to be 8-7 in favor of Europe going into the last day is my prediction. I think it's even with the US's stacked lineups. I think it's I think the Europe is just as stacked too, and you're up against it, right? So if I look at it as kind of being 2 guaranteed wins. I shouldn't say guaranteed wins, but I think that Europe is, like you guys said, very, very heavily favored, 2 of them. So then you're down to just 2, and I think if they split those 2, which I think they'll split those 2, you're going to end up at the 4-2 in favor of Europe. So I think that's where my prediction is. And 8-7 going into the last day. We're going to have a great day 4. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it would be great. Well, let me ask you this though, Mike and Nate and Bob. Do you think U.S. has to be ahead going into tomorrow? Because we're talking today about where the matchups don't look good are singles. because their singles players just head to head are
yes,
favored against all of ours.
So I do think that they have to be. I think they got to be,
because tomorrow's all singles, right? So you're going to have to stick JJ out there again tomorrow. You're going to have to stick Chris back out there tomorrow.
I think
we have to have the lead to be able to control the lineup a little bit.
Yes, I think
that has to be up two.
They can't be tied because it's 6 games today. So
I mean, you
can't go into the last day tied.
They're either going to be up 1 or they're going to be up, I guess, 3.
You want the lead going into the fourth quarter, and they haven't. I think they've only been behind one time so far, so we really haven't seen them in any kind of hole. I think like if you were going to go and say which team would you want to go and fight their way out of a hole, you would be more comfortable with the Team Europe,
of course.
But you'd be more comfortable with the Team Europe, coming back. So going into the last day, I think it's super important. But win or lose today, I mean, they set themselves up to really give it the best shot they can based on performance, and within the rules.
If they're up 8-7 going into tomorrow, they get a little bit of the edge on being able to pick the singles lineup. And 2, the European players, whether they're favoring these matches or not, playing in Europe with all the Europe fans, expectations, all that stuff, they would feel some real heat tomorrow if they go out there down 8-7. Even though they're favored in virtually all the singles matches, they're going to be feeling the heat.
Yeah, I do want to say this too. If you're watching from home, you might have saw there's a decent amount of empty seats the last 2 days. It is a packed house tonight. They have sold out. So I think having the entire crowd in there too is going to be awesome. We're going to hear even more hyenas in the.
It's good for Team USA. I think that's good.
I think it is too.
I have a question for Nate here. Was there a specific reason that you were sitting on the European side yesterday during the match? Was it because Darren Appleton asked you to sit next to him?
Yeah, I was just sitting next to Darren.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I stay pretty neutral.
Nate wanted TV time.
Yeah, I wanted some TV time.
I wanted they might interview.
If you want TV time, sit next to Margaret.
Yeah, there you go.
That's funny.
No, I just sat with Darren because when I was walking through, he's like, Nate, sit over here. So I went and sat over with him. I stay pretty neutral while I'm here, though. I don't do a lot of rooting. I'm here. Okay. I kind of just drink and try to stay as neutral as possible.
Why?
Media.
Yeah, I tried to play that game for about 40 years, and after a while, you just throw your hands up and say, "No, man, kick their ass."
Yeah. We know, Mike. We know. Trust me, we know now.
For a lot of years, I was like the impartial guy to the point where I remember Reed Pierce calling me out at York Hall in the U.S. practice room. About, aren't you rooting for USA? I said, no, I'm an impartial viewer, and he was pissed. He was not happy with me.
I wouldn't come here if I wasn't a fan. That's absolutely. But I try to stay as neutral as I possibly can.
Of course.
Because at the end of the day,
we've seen you on the commercials, Nate. We've seen you don't got to hide it. We've seen you on the commercials waving the flag and Team USA.
Oh yeah.
We've seen it. We've seen it on the promos.
I saw you hug Tyler after he won.
Guilty. Yeah. No, I'm guilty there. No, but I mean, I'm a fan. I wouldn't be jumping on a plane for 8 hours if I wasn't a fan. But I try to keep it wrapped up as much. I mean, at the end of the day, like all the European guys are friends. I mean, and all of the American guys are friends. I'm not trying to say like, haha, Jason, you suck. I want to see everybody succeed because they're all my friends. I just want the U.S. to succeed more.
You just want to hug everybody.
Did anybody notice the physical reaction of Tyler after he slapped that 8-ball in? Did the camera go? Because I didn't see him smile like all day, and I
was getting another drink.
He was pretty serious.
He stayed focused on making that 9, and then he looked at Josh and he kind of gave him a little hand wave on the way back to his chair, like he
did.
I mean, he missed 3 8-balls in the same game and won.
I know. That's crazy.
So,
I'll tell you what. I can tell you what Pia's face looked like during that.
Yeah, well,
it
happens.
No, it's
Well, it was funny. The commentators were talking a little bit about the percentage of the game 9-ball that's luck for the pros, even for the best pros. And they said 10 to 15%. And I had just prior to that myself been thinking, gee, I wonder how much of this game, I've heard that for 8-ball for the pros, it's like 25%. And I'm thinking, gosh, you can slop balls.
I mean, that's silly.
Come on.
That's silly.
It's got to be 20% in 9-ball and less in 8-ball.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
anyhow,
I could see it even being higher than that. I mean, if you're basically just looking at like the idea of the luck factor, right? I mean, especially in this format with the hand rack, I mean, is getting a good rack from the ref lucky?
Have you seen
getting a shot on the one lucky? I mean, it kind of depends on how you define the word luck. But if I mean, every game starts with a break, and the break is the most important part. So if you want to say getting a good rack from the ref is lucky, and maybe making a ball and not getting the cue ball kicked into the side like Shane did, that was still gross. I mean, if all those things are if all those things are lucky, you could argue 9-ball at this level is 75-80% luck, because if you get a good break, you get a shot on the 1-ball, you're going to run out at that point, right? All of these players are going to run out. So, I mean, you can make an argument that just getting a shot off of the break is the entire game. And if that's the case, then kind of depends on how you define luck at that point, but the entire game could be luck.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the announcers, talk about that, I want to give a shout out to Niels. I think Niels is
Niels is the best.
Stone cold fantastic. I think he brings so much insight, and he gets your heart pumping just when he talks about what it's like out there as a player and what players are going through and all that stuff. He's just doing a great job. And I love it when the Dutchman, when he's in there or Alex is in there, because they can't pronounce TH. I love listening to those guys talk. Everything's another shot.
I think he's gotten more settled, because at the beginning it seemed like he was trying to just overanalyze every single ball, but he's found more of a rhythm of, like Mike said, kind of explaining how moments are at the Mosconi Cup, and that part I really love to hear.
Yeah, that's where he brings the the money is. The shots are the shots, but yeah.
Were you guys kind of surprised when they were looking at the 3-ball and it one rack Sky and Shane, and all of a sudden Sky just gets up there 3 strokes and banks the 3-ball across corner?
Yeah, great.
That was surprising. A pleasant surprise.
All right, heading out there, Nate.
What? Yeah, well, I'm gonna walk out into the arena so you guys can scope it out. I don't think the TV does justice to how beautiful this table actually is. So it's probably gonna get a little loud, but we'll see what we can do. And all these people can. So here's the arena, pals. Here is the arena. It's actually very cool. It's a really cool arena. Well, here, I'll do this. This is, sorry guys, I'm making myself more important. How do I do it?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Yeah, we don't want to see you, mate.
GoPro.
Why don't you fall down or something?
Why don't you fall down? Give me a few
So
more
we
beers.
can see, tumble the screen.
Here's the arena. This is the outdoor area, the reception. The American and European flags riding through here. And I'm telling you what, the TV does not do justice to how.
Oh, I might have lost him.
Yeah. As soon as he walked into that tunnel, that was it.
He might have jumped in a no-enter red zone. They gave him the boot.
Yeah,
Nate's
ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, he's getting locked up now at
I'm sure.
Yeah,
you can't go ahead. It's a free stream on the View It Up podcast from the arena.
Well, boys, I guess this is about as good a time as any to go and call it. No, I don't know.
Let's go watch some action.
Hey,
yeah,
I can't wait for the day. Just can't wait for it.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys are here in the U.S., you got about 25 minutes away before kickoff, so go check it out. I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna get the popcorn ready. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, 6 minutes. It's gonna be a long day.
Apparently, you switch over on the. Apparently, it's Wi-Fi. There we go. So here's the table. It's absolutely beautiful. We got
Grab a cue and leg one, Nate.
It's an absolutely beautiful thing.
A couple of guest appearances.
I kept track of the legs from yesterday.
What'd you say?
We had we won 5 legs, they won 4 in the last 2 days.
Hey, we got little Chris. Live podcast. Say hi.
Did they get him a booster seat?
Yep, there it is. Yeah. He needs one. He needs one.
Let me throw this out here to you guys. The score is 5-4. That's 9 games, and so far we've won 5 legs and they've won 4. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should we talk about that now?
It's game time.
Yeah, what do you think?
Time.
We're out of here, Nate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Yeah, here's
a long
the
day. 6 matches.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Here's the production.
Oh, nice. Looks good, man.
Where you can see Kelly Fisher and Niels are actually up there talking right now. Yeah. So you can see the TV production track. You can set up for everything that's going on. It's pretty awesome. Where the players are hanging out. Yeah, it's good. It's good. So it's an amazing setup here. They really know what they're doing.
Cool.
Even from like the 18 to now. Matchroom was doing things that like even in 2018 from now, it's so much more professional looking. Everything just looks awesome here. If you've never been to one, you got to get to one of these Mosconi Cup. I'm looking right at you, Molina Mike.
Next year, I'll see you in Vegas for sure. I'll be there.
Yeah. Cheers. All right. Well, yeah, I'll let you guys all go then. And thanks for joining on again. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
We'll see you, boys. Enjoy.